Hey, thanks for stopping by, Living with Rob. I want to get some housekeeping out of the way right now, real quick, before we get into the video. If you're here for RV-related content, if you want RV-related content, you want to come over to this channel up here where this bar sticks out. That's where my new Rob the RV Guy channel resides, and that's where all the RV content's going to be moving forward. If you can't click that bar, there will be a link in the description below to get you over there. So without further ado, let's get to today's video at Living with Rob. I'm Robert Anthony.
I'm Joelle Anthony.
This is Watson. In 2020, we felt God's call in our lives to do something incredibly radical.
In 2023, we sold our flower shop, our home, just about everything we owned, and purchased our Winnebago Flex RV.
This began our trek into the vast unknown. Our mission is to take you along, showing you things you otherwise may never be able to see.
We would be so thankful to have you follow along and become part of our adventures.
Now, let's get to today's video.
I know a place where we can go and be alone. So come away with me, nobody has to know. Where we gonna go? I was just calling to see if you're free to run away with me, to run away with me. Don't tell your friends, we'll let them know we're safe later on. The road's calling, sun on our skin, sleeping under stars when it's gone. I was just calling to see if you're free to run away with me, to run away with me, to run away with me.
One of you. Good morning, how you doing? I'm coming to you from high atop a place called Muley Point, which sits above, about 2,000 feet above Monument Valley you see behind me there. And I've been thinking this morning as I've been walking around at perhaps my favorite place to camp in the entire country, why? And I wanted to ask you that question. Why? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are we doing what we're doing as people? I'd like to explore that with you as I sit up here enjoying the early morning sun. I know from the algorithm, or at least from the Google Analytics, that the majority of you that are watching our videos are between the ages of 45 and 70. Many of you have found my Winnebago videos and the RV videos very helpful. And while that's not the intent initially of why I decided to start making a channel, obviously, those are the videos that have the most traction, that give us the most views. And of course, if you're doing YouTube, you want the most views. That is not, however, my passion and not why I want to do YouTube and not why I want to do what I'm doing. my desire is to help people. And I think the reason that I've made the videos with regard to the RV stuff is because I have a desire to help people. But in a larger scale, in a much grander scale, what my desire has been and continues to be is to help people to maybe break through the prison of ideas that they find themselves in about where they need to be when they're 65 or 70 years old. As I've been out and sit and looked at some of these vast expanses of land and camped at the edges of canyons and woken up and had coffee, with a 3,000-foot drop below me and hummingbirds humming by or filming the Milky Way, I've thought this is what life is about. When you're out here in these vast expanses of wilderness and you sit underneath the starry skies and you embrace all that there is out here, it is very difficult to not be humbled. I've met a lot of people that are more New Age in their thinking that talk about how the universe has put them here and the universe has put them there. And this is just honestly a new trend that we see. And in the grand scheme of things, there's, the universe is a universal thing that people want to say because they don't want to admit God is there and they don't want to admit a need for Jesus Christ in their life to forgive their sins and to find their way into heaven. And that's fine if that's the way that you want to live. But I will tell you this, for me being out here, there is nothing greater that draws me closer to my Creator, that being God Almighty, than being in these areas of these expanses. And it is just glorious. It is wonderful. Why do we do what we do? Why do you do what you do? We have to make a living. I know so many in my age class that are working so hard, so many hours a week, putting off to someday, that fateful day when they get to be 62 and a half or 64 or whatever time it is that Social Security comes and you can suddenly start traveling, that they go out and they enjoy the world. Here's the problem with that. The problem with that is multifaceted, but in my view, the problem is this. You've spent so many hours working, so little time taking care of your physical nature, so little time taking care of your spiritual nature, so little time taking care of your body and the single greatest investment that you have, that when the time comes at 65 years old to begin to go out and travel, you won't be able to get to 1/3 of the places that I've seen because it requires too much work. So many people are traveling around in a Class A motorhome, and I don't belittle that by any stretch, but basically they have a home on wheels, and by its very nature, for example, a Class A motorhome disallows you from getting to most of the places that I've been with our Toyota Tundra and small travel trailer. And I think that encapsulates everything. I want the comforts of home. I don't want to have to sacrifice much, so I want my $750,000 motorhome to travel the country. And again, I don't begrudge those of you that are doing that. I completely understand. I've been in so many of these units and they are palatial. I get it. But this does beg the question, why are we doing what we're doing? And I think I have the answer to that. I think I have the answer to what that should be. We want a bunch of money. And we want a bunch of money because we believe it makes us secure. And Solomon is clear about this in Proverbs, all over Proverbs and throughout the Bible. It's very clear. Why do you accumulate all this wealth only to leave it behind to people that haven't earned it or deserved it and who will spend your money for you instead of enjoying it while you can? It only takes one phone call from a doctor. It only takes one phone call from a hospital telling you that you have something that's going to take your life. And that could be in 3 months, it could be in 6 months, it could be in 8 years, but we're all on borrowed time. We're all going to be in a position where we will face God. We are going to die. There is no denying we are going to die. I don't care what anybody tells you, we're all going to die. So why are we doing what we're doing? We want to accumulate wealth and we want to amass this huge nest egg that we will be able to leave to our kids. That's what we tell ourselves, and that's not true. I believe that we are accumulating the wealth because it provides some kind of a security blanket for us. Yes, there are a lot of people that do great things with their wealth. I know many people that do, but still, they're missing out on life. They're missing out on views like this, and they're missing out on opportunity. When in truth, I believe that we have one goal here. In life, I believe we have one goal, and that's helping other people. So you have to ask yourself, is the trajectory of your life helping other people? A friend of mine, a national photographer, who was Donald Trump's photographer in the first campaign in 2016, his name is Gene Ho. He is a believer and he's a great friend, and we don't talk much, but I've always admired his work and I've admired what he does as a human being. And Gene and I were having lunch one day and Gene said to me, "Don't ever do photography for a living like what I do. Your work is so spectacular and it is so good. When you take it on as work, what ends up happening is you start to hate it. You start to resent it." He said, "I wish if I could do it all over again as a national wedding photographer with much fame, I wish that what I could do would be to get a job like you, taking care of plants and flowers, for example, and then do my photography because I love to do it." As I've been pursuing a means by which to try to make money with photography and to try to make an income with photography and make money off of YouTube, I have lost sight of the fact that I love doing photography and I love sharing those images with you. I thought that I could sell them and I could make money and that would fund what I'm doing out here, but I've lost the love for what I'm doing in trying to make these silly videos and in trying to do photography for money. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to the RV Training Academy because I want to help people, and that'll be a means by which I can make an income. But in truth, our job is to make life better for other people. There are a few of you have reached out to me that have said you were encouraged by a video, and while probably 50 or 60 people will watch this video in its scheme of things, it'll always be out there reminding you that our job is to help people. I think of Lee Raines. Lee is a young woman that's my daughter's friend, and she watches my videos, and I know that, and it surprises me that she does because she's young, but it's not the demographic, but I have always loved Lee like a daughter. And Lee has made comments along the way about various videos that she said, "I needed to hear this. Thank you so much. This has helped me. I thank you so much." There was another woman, and I can't remember her name, but she had fallen onto our channel because of the Winnebago stuff. And in that, she mentioned that she was forwarding the videos to her children because there were a number of the life advice videos that she felt her children could use to hear. And I've been thinking a lot to myself as I've been walking around feeling sorry for myself that the YouTube channel hasn't taken off and all that other garbage. And I thought, really that's what it's all about. And really, in the end, why we do what we do is because you never know whose life you're going to touch, whose life you might save by the encouragement that you give to them. One of my sons right now, who has had his own struggles, has a friend that's really struggling severely, and it's killing my son to watch this happen. And he and I talked a lot about this over the weekend, and he wanted to know a little bit what I thought about it, about whether he should talk to his friend or not. And I think that, James is very clear in the book of James that if you can pull somebody off of the edge of destroying their life by something that you say or an encouragement that you offer, there's nothing greater accomplished in life than that very thing. That's why we're here. We shouldn't be here for the accumulation of wealth. We shouldn't be here for the fame that social media promises as we go on a hamster wheel making videos trying to get famous, which is, of course, what I've been doing, and that's a stupid plan. Our mission is to share our lives with others, hoping that through doing so, maybe they see life differently. And maybe they do something differently. So as I close this out from this beautiful view, looking at Monument Valley behind me, and the wind is picking up, it's my hope that if you've watched it this far, that you are encouraged and inspired to evaluate what's really important to you. Is that home and those 2 cars that you have loans on, and the boat that you have a loan on? Is all of that keeping you in bondage? Is it all worth it, really? I don't know, and only you can answer that. I know I've got a lot of searching to do for myself as to what's important, and I know that I have a lot of searching to do for myself as to what really matters, but I do know one thing. There's nothing more important to me than being the husband that I'm called to be and being the father to the 4 children that God's given to me. Everything else is secondary. Nothing else matters. And I hope that if that's not your priority, that perhaps watching this video, seeing the things that you've seen, you'll think hard about that. I've got to go take some photos of Joelle. She's sitting on the edge of a rock over there that overlooks this, like it's a 3,000-foot drop-off where she's at, so she makes me nervous. I hope you have a great day. You guys take care of yourself. I don't know when the next video is coming, but I'll see you in the next one.